question. Does judges' apprehension towards giving or granting divorces also come from our cultural values? क्योंकि अमेरिका में क्या होता है, मैं जो पहले कह रहा था कि किसी सेलिब्रिटी के आप अगर विकीपीडिया पर जाओ, पर्सनल लाइफ वाले सेक्शन पे जाओ, तो उसमें कभी कभी लिखा होता है कि एंड देन जेनिफर एनिस्टन एंड ब्रैड पिट सॉट डिवोर्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दे हैव इनरिकंसिलिएबल डिफरेंसेस. उनको मिल जाता है आसानी से. तो यहाँ पे कल्चरल डिफरेंसेस की वजह से भी रोकते हैं डिवोर्स.
So that's not the case. In India nowadays, there are a lot of mutual divorces happening. One is mutual divorce, right? Irreconcilable differences. That has not been codified yet properly. But, it cannot be one-sided. A person cannot come to the court and say irreconcilable differences, so please give me divorce. There has to be certain accusations. However, mutual divorce is something which is taking place very often nowadays in the country. So much so that almost all of the cases, although the courts have been given the discretion, but if both parties come together and say we mutually want divorce, nobody comes in the middle nowadays. There are certain conditions. However, very basic stuff like, now, but it is a little painful. So imagine you get married today and tomorrow you realize, just like Britney Spears and that former husband of hers, you realize that this marriage is not working out. So the next day also you can go for annulment, you can go for this thing, you can go for divorce. In India, however, if annulment is a whole another bag in itself. Annulment cannot be mutual. Both parties cannot go to the court and say this was a mistake, let's annul the marriage and make it void. However, divorce can take place mutually, but a minimum of 18 months have to transpire between the date of the marriage, at least among Hindus, right? Hindu Marriage Act. 18 months must transpire from the date of marriage till the date of grant of divorce. So for example, you get married today, and especially imagine this, Vinamra, arranged marriage, and there is incompatibility for whatever reason, right? The next day, you both realize, bhai, this is not going to work. You must wait for at least an 18-month period before you can get a divorce.
और तुम्हें इन-लॉज, घर वाले, समाज, मतलब औरतों की चूड़ियाँ, आदमी का ये कि नई नई शादी हुई है, ये सब सहना है because you announced it to the rest of the world and now you're fucked. Is this where the separation period happens, where men and women will say we're separated because they're actually waiting on their divorce to kick in?
That happens quite often. Quite often. So there is a minimum mandatory 6-month period of cooling off also, which has been prescribed under the law. They try to put in safeguards, which I believe are all unnecessary, to be honest. The so-called sanctity to the institution of marriage was meant in a very different way. It has been contorted in such hideous ways now. It is horrible, yeah. Especially when you consider, arranged marriage. Arranged marriage, then you have to wait for, all of this time. Then in the middle, you've got lawyers coaching, especially the women, that if you just take these XYZ steps, there is so much more money to be made. And then, there is also manipulation. Nothing has happened. Yet, we will tell the woman, look at how he has ruined your life. He said this. He didn't do this. His mother said this. Do you not think that you should seek compensation? Do you not think that you should seek justice, retribution? And in the middle of all of this, last week, client comes and says, we both signed for mutual divorce. We went to the local court, filed for mutual divorce. And the lawyer called up and said that there's some documentary difficulty, so you'll have to come to court again. The wife says, no, now I want money. I have hired a lawyer and now I'm going to pursue the case. Why did this happen? In the middle of this conversation, in the middle of this whole process of getting divorced, wife is, being manipulated by some other advocate who says you can get a good deal out of this. This is what takes place very often, yeah.